Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court described the blackout of the Kerala story in Bengal and Tamil Nadu as a case of intolerance before lifting the blockade on the movie. The use of the word intolerance is extremely significant. It begs a question. Why a story of religious bigotry, organized conversion and indoctrination for ISIS jihad is sought to be buried as hate speech? Why is such a story deemed offensive when it should be an eye-opener, a warning to bigots and hardliners, and a reminder of the ugly reality of religious fanaticism which has bled not only this country but many parts of the world time and again while costing lives worldwide? Why must then some choose to condemn and denounce and block the Kerala story instead of promoting it? After all, the arguments presented in favor of the ban were torn apart bit by bit in the Constitutional Court today. And the Supreme Court was left with no choice but to note that the tyranny of intolerance unleashed on the movie was completely unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the Newshour, we will try to unpack the motive behind blocking the Kerala story. Let's first listen in to the lawyer representing the film in the Supreme Court.
All that has happened today is that today we have a stay on the ban imposed by West Bengal. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, the statement is recorded. Therefore, the exhibition of the film can go on in Tamil Nadu basis the statement today by the council, and there can't be any direct or indirect imposition of any restriction on the exhibition of the film. This is all that has happened, and the matters are all posted on 18th of July and reopened.
We are now joined by the Kerala story filmmaker Sudipto Sen, the director, and Vipul Shah, the producer, joining us live. Sudipto, what does this removal of the ban mean to you today? Victory of a long struggle?
Number one, it was not a ban because this ban was illegal. When censor board gives a certification to a film, it is no state government can impose any kind of ban on the film. Now it comes to the law and order issue, which was we knew that it was not any serious kind of threat or serious kind of perception about the film, because it was running more than 10,000 screens every day all over the country. Even before the ban, 3.5 days in West Bengal, it was, and in Tamil Nadu, it was running full house without a single incident in front of the cinema hall or anywhere. So it was happened to it was like a we understood that it was like a some deliberated attempt to stop our film, which Honorable Supreme Court has waived off. And we are extremely happy, thanks to you, all media and all social media, people in social media and the viewer, the film lovers of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu, that their wishes has been fulfilled. Supreme Court has paved the way to watch the film.
Well said. The West Bengal government, Vipul Shah, today said that the violence in Akola in Maharashtra was used as an example, and saying that the ban in West Bengal was done so as to prevent Akola kind of violence. The court did not buy this argument, but what do you think about the rationale that was being provided by the Bengal government?
It is, it's like going beyond the wisdom of the Honorable Supreme Court. When Honorable Supreme Court has found no merit in that argument, then I don't think there is anything left for anybody else to say in this matter. I just feel that this is such a huge victory for the people in India. It's a huge victory for the democracy of India. It's a huge victory for freedom of expression in the country and for the film industry, because we have been subjected to, time and again, we have been subjected to such illegal bans against us. I think this judgment is landmark in many ways to, for future, for people to think and not ban any film in the coming future.
Well, Sudipto Sen, the fact is that the Chief Justice Chandrachud made an interesting observation about the ban. He said at this rate, people will be reduced to watching cartoons and sports, if this kind of intolerance persists. Do you believe any ban of this kind has a chilling effect on free speech?
Absolutely, because West Bengal always the champion of free speech movement, always been champion of democratic values of the country. In previous instances also, when any film was been banned, the first voice came from Honorable Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, or from any cross section of Bengali people. So the point is. Always Bengal stood by better cinema, better culture, better theatre, better music, and in this case, in the case of our film, The Kerala Story, I don't know. Most probably, Miss Mamata Banerjee was been misguided and been wrongly fed, and she was not responsible enough to cross-check by seeing the film. So, the first and foremost precondition for criticizing a film is watching that film first and then criticize. So we believed in that. That is the reason we knocked the door of Supreme Court, and today we are vindicated.
Mr. Vipul Shah, yesterday you had those 26 girls tell their touching story, and they related their truth to the world. Tonight, I want to ask you, what would you want to tell those who remain in denial about such attempts at forced conversions and indoctrination that have spoiled several lives in India?
It's up to everybody's own conscience that what they want to see and what they don't want to see. This is a stark reality. This is happening. Whether you want to accept it or no, that doesn't change the reality. I want that we are more sensitive towards the girls of this country. And I hope that people realize after today's verdict that, this is a very important topic and they must all see it, they must all understand it. And all we want is those terrorists who are involved in this to go to jail. And this should stop. This should stop across the country. That's all that we want. There is nothing more to it than the protection of the girls of our country. So if people want to join us, they are most welcome. If they still don't want to join, then they are going to swim against the tide, because the people of this country want this topic to be discussed now. This topic cannot be silent anymore. So I think it's up to them which side they want to be on.
Well, thank you, Sudipto Da, and thank you, Vipul Shah, for joining me on the Newshour. Clearly, this issue cannot be brushed under the carpet anymore. But even as I thank the director and the producer, and even after the Supreme Court order, there are those who refuse to budge from their stand. Listen in to the detractors who stand strong even today.
पश्चिम बंगाल की सरकार और ममता बनर्जी ने केरला स्टोरी पर रोक इसलिए लगाया था कि पश्चिम बंगाल के समाज को वो तोड़ना चाहते हैं। हिंदू मुसलमान के नाम पर उसको बांटकर फिर मुसलमान का सामने जाकर बोलना, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी तुम्हारा खिलाफ है। क्या पश्चिम बंगाल के मुसलमान इस हिंदुस्तान को नापाक मानते हैं? ऐसे डिसीजन पे तो ममता बनर्जी ने ISIS का साथ एक ही लाइन में सारे मुसलमान को खड़ा कर दिया। हम लोग ये विश्वास करते हैं पश्चिम बंगाल के अल्पसंख्यक समाज उसको खिलाफ आवाज उठाएंगे। ममता बनर्जी का डिवाइसिव पॉलिटिक्स जो है, तोड़ने वाला जो राजनीति है, बस समाज को बांटने का राजनीति, इसका खिलाफ आवाज उठाएंगे।
We are saying that in the best interests of Bengal, the Mamata Banerjee took the call in the initial stages and she banned the cinema. Now, it is the fundamental right of every citizen of the country to go to the courts of law, which the producer did. The Supreme Court has given its observation. Now, following this, Honorable Chief Minister, what action she will take is, Didi will say, it's not possible for me to say.
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, film banned to hide the real story That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate tonight, Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Sandeep Senan, film producer. Also joining me on the debate, Advocate Adil Hassan, AIMIM Youth President, Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress Party. But my first question goes to Dr. Shantanu Sen, Member of Parliament and national spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. And Dr. Shantanu Sen, it is to you that I ask tonight. Why would the land of Bengal ban a film, ban, expression, freedom of expression in the land where culture, where art, where film, and iconic films at that have taken birth? Only because you want to convey an image of secularism and you want to shun the horrendous truth that this film depicts?
Thank you for giving me such a loose ball to hit a sixer at the beginning. You are talking of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, where India ranks 164 out of 180 countries. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to give this data before the audience. According to the Section 6/1 of West Bengal Cinema Regulation Act 1954, it was the basic right of West Bengal government that if they are having any information from the intelligence that there is a chance of breach of peace and harmony, there is a chance of spread of like a message of hatred, then West Bengal government or any government can take such step. Now who are talking against this? Who are talking against this? Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me cite you some example. Padmavat, Bajirao Mastana, Pathan, Khan, PK, Lipstick Under Burkha, Chapak, Sadak, Lal Singh Chadda, and so many. These cinemas were banned by which political party? BBC. Which political party took step against BBC because they spoke something against Narendra Modi? Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha TV. These TVs were censored by which leader? Our learned Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. Because when he was giving the speech inside the parliament, the opposition was raising their voice. So just to silence the opposition voice so that the people of the country at large cannot know what the opposition voice is, they censored the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha TV. Who stopped subscription of PTI? Is the Narendra Modi Sarkar. Who assaulted brutally the journalist in Madhya Pradesh, making them almost half naked? This is the Bharatiya Janata Party and their government, and they are talking this ABCD. They are the master of spreading the message of violence, the message of hatred, and they are master of doing divisive politics. They cannot say anything like this. Yes, Supreme Court has given the judgment, it is welcome. Now if anything happens, the responsibility lies with the court. But as there was an apprehension that there might be a breach of peace and harmony, there might be a message of spread of message of hatred, government took such decision.
Dr. Sudipta Sen, you're a member of parliament. You're very happy that you've hit a sixer out of the park. May I tell you?
I'm sorry, I am Dr. Shantanu Sen.
I'm sorry, I confused your name with the director of the film's name. My apologies, Dr. Shantanu Sen. But you hit a sixer and you're very happy with the sixer you hit. May I remind you, when the Supreme Court gave its judgment, you were clean bowled. Your mid-stump is out. You are out of the match completely with your wickets down, and the match is over, sir. You lost the match. After that, you can stand in Eden Gardens and swing your bat whichever way you want. Match ta shesh hoye geche. Band remove korte hobe. Match ta shesh hoye geche. Ekhun apni shikshar den. You can hit a boundary, kintu match ta শেষ হয়ে গেছে। Having said that, let me give you a few facts, Dr. Shantanu Sen.
Supreme Court is not God.
No, surely.
Yes, we will be abiding by the verdict given by Supreme Court.
But you make very loose statements. While you are hitting loose balls, you are making loose statements, and you are saying that the Supreme Court is responsible for law and order. Are you abdicating the responsibility of the state government by asking the Supreme Court to maintain law and order? Then why is the government in Bengal there at all? And may I tell you what the Chief Justice of India said today?
As there is a chance of law and order violation, government took the decision. Now, as there was
the Supreme Court has directed you that law and order needs to be maintained, my friend. My friend, you have to maintain law and order. That's why governments are chosen and appointed.
National Crime Record Bureau says that law and order situation in National Crime Record Bureau says in 3 perpetual years that law and order situation in West Bengal is far better than so many BJP ruled states.
So then why are you scared?
This is for you.
Why are you scared? Why do you forget the words? Why do you forget the words of the Chief Justice who said, you are 1 minute, Dr. Shantanu Sen. Dr. Shantanu Sen, in a debate, it's not a one-way street. You must listen to the other argument also. And this is not my argument. This is what the Chief Justice of India said. He said, you are saying that the ban of the film is on the basis of 13 people. You can get any 13 people, they'll say ban any movie unless you are showing them cartoons. Maybe people will have objections to cartoons as well. And the Supreme Court also said Section 6 cannot be utilized to put a premium on public intolerance. Now, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to ask you, when Dr. Shantanu Sen says that the ban is been removed, now the Supreme Court is responsible for law and order, is that a statement you expect from a lawfully elected government that has been appointed in Bengal by the will of the people by abdicating their duties and responsibilities?
Good evening, Navika. Absolutely not. In fact, if you permit me to say this, I see that possibly as a threat. And everyone must keep their eyes and ears open in Bengal, because some kind of violence might be manufactured just to put the Supreme Court order in bad light and say, see, we told you. Something like Akola might happen here, and it has happened. The law and order situation cannot be preemptive when the censor board, quote unquote censor board, has allowed, or CBFC has allowed a film to be screened, when the High Court and Supreme Courts have allowed the film to be screened. This is preposterous. And as for Dada saying that he's been given a very loose ball, he's hit a sixer, I'm sorry, he's been hit wicket. It's ridiculous, and he's factually wrong on so many counts, including the fact that he says BJP banned Pathan. No, it didn't ban Pathan. But now let me come to the thrust of my thesis. Navika, permit me to say this, and I say this with full responsibility. There already is a contempt case against me, that we unfortunately are a banana republic from the moment we became a republic. While I partly laud what the Supreme Court has said today, the verdict, I'm appalled that the verdict does not go the full way. Where is the, as they say, cost to company? Where is the compensation? Is this a joke? Is this country a joke? By my reckoning, this film has already earned in the last 10 days 200 crores by screening it in 1,500 theaters all around India. Now, there were 70 theaters that it planned to screen in Bengal. It would have earned more than 50 crores. Why did the Supreme Court say that those 50 crores have to be compensated? The director who's lost that revenue should either be paid by the Bengal government, or even better, by Mamata ji's personal account or the TMC money. How dare they stop a legal pursuance of earning money through something that is legally allowed by not only our courts, but also by the legal processes of this country. And I want to say this, it's not just the TMC, in case people might wonder. It is the BJP in the last 9 years has banned 12 films, including Jodha Akbar, including Padmavati, including MSG2, and it is the Congress in the last 15 years have banned 27 films, including 4 films on the 1984 genocide. The Supreme Court should come down heavily and say all those directors and producers of all those films have to be retrospectively compensated by every government that banned it. Otherwise, I'm sorry, we are a banana republic.
Fair point, fair point. Would you want to respond to that, Dr. Shantanu Sen? What about the compensation for not allowing the film to be screened there for the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
Again, our stand is very clear, madam. There was an apprehension because the chronology says that it is the basic culture of BJP. They believe in divisive politics. They believe in playing politics with the religion cards. And that's especially when there is any election knocking in the corner or in any particular state or at the central, they start doing this, start playing this type of politics. So assuming that there might be some peace and political violence might take place, religion violence might take place. That's why government took this decision. Once again, I repeat, and I quoted so many films which were censored, which were banned by BJP. Can my learned friend of BJP deny that Narendra Modi censored Rajya Sabha TV and Lok Sabha TV during his speech in the last parliamentary session? Can my dear colleague of BJP deny that yes, the subscription to PTI was stopped by Bharatiya Janata Party government? Can my dear friend of BJP deny that so many journalists of Madhya Pradesh were made half naked and they were physically assaulted? Can my dear friend of BJP deny that they have made some derogatory comments against BBC even?
All right.
Because
The first point that you say is that because the BJP said good things about the film, so we had to ban the film. Now that's part one of his statement, Mr. Nalin Kohli, and part two, you are also from the ban brigade, and he's rightly raising the questions, why are you being just so morally why are you taking the moral high ground on the ban issue? Please explain on both those questions to Dr. Shantanu Sen.
Well, because firstly, that's a hypocritical stand of the Trinamool Congress. They are the ones who scream that democracy is in danger, the constitution is in danger, the country is becoming intolerant. And they ban a film before even seeing it. And that ban is wrapped by the Honorable Supreme Court. So the first question that comes is, do they believe, I mean, we know that Dr. Shantanu has been at least honest to say that the Supreme Court is not God. But the next question he should honestly answer, does he believe the Supreme Court is intolerant? And do they believe that the Constitution of India is now in danger because the Honorable Supreme Court has ruled against them? So it's a hypocritical stand. It's a stance of convenience. It's not a stand based on conviction. That's the first part. The second is, look at the comic situation that we are in. A film is made. That film is banned by the Trinamool government in the state of West Bengal. That ban is reversed or stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court, and the BJP is abused by the Trinamool Congress for all of this. I mean, what is it? It's almost comical that this is the political level of the Trinamool Congress. You take a decision, you ban it in your state, you get wrapped by the Supreme Court, and the BJP has to hear your abuse for all of things you have done. It also exposes what is the Trinamool Congress all about. And then comes whole bluster and spiel on something which is not at all related to the ban, to the denouncement of the ban, and the fact that people in West Bengal will finally see the film. I think they are worried. The only political reason I can see that the West Bengal government banned this film is they are worried. Because perhaps what's been exposed in Kerala is probably happening in Bengal. And they probably are worried that more and more women and children and daughters and mothers and parents and brothers will see this film in Bengal. They will then be able to relate to the situation in Bengal. Because we've seen consistently what happens to people in Bengal if they do not vote for the Trinamool Congress. Women are raped, assaulted, houses are burnt, year after year, month after month. BJP karyakartas are hanged from the nearest tree, murdered, no police investigation. But the BJP is intolerant for all of this. I mean, I really don't know what's the politics of West Bengal.
Dr. Shantanu Sen, respond.
And the people of Bengal will certainly give a befitting reply to them.
Yes, one thing he has said very rightly, yes, the constitution is in danger. The constitution is in danger as because the country is in the hand of this BJP.
The constitution
absolutely
was
has
in
said the right
danger,
thing.
even in
Number
Bengal.
one.
Even in Bengal. And may I tell you why many people think that you were worried about this film being screened. That is because in 2006, only 22% of the minority votes came to the Trinamool Congress. Over the years, your dependence on the minority vote has increased.
If you ask me
In
a question and you
2011,
yourself
it's
answer the same question,
35%,
how can it be?
2014, 40%, 2016,
You are asking me a
51,
question and you are
2021,
answering
it's
the same.
75%.
Then what is the use of my sitting over here?
I'm giving you
Navika,
statistics.
you are asking me a question and you
I'm
yourself
giving you the
answering the same.
statistics.
Then-
Tell me,
then
are
what-
these
what is the
numbers,
point of
are
sitting
these
over
numbers
here?
the reason why you are nervous about this film?
You just tell me one second. I am sure you are aware of Nadab Lapid, who was a jury of IFFI, International Film Festival of India, who himself has said regarding this movie that it is nothing but a propaganda film, number one. Number two, in this film, without showing any document, it has been shown that 32,000 girls were missing in Kerala after forceful conversion. Whereas in the real story in Gujarat is, in last 5 years, 40,000 girls are missing. That is the real story. That is not a movie. That's not a cinema. In Gujarat, in last 5 years, 40,000 girls are missing. What do you say about this? What do you say about this? What might be a BJP person say about
I say
this?
these numbers are true. They have been widely reported, and I completely encourage you to make a film on that as well. You must. The Bengal government must sponsor and make a film, but Nalin Kohli
No, but we
responds.
don't believe in divisive politics. No. We don't believe in divisive politics.
What is divisive about this?
We are not.
What
here to
is
ignite
divisive
violence.
about this? If it is a fact, then people need to know what is happening. Whichever part of the country it's happening, it should be known. And it should be,
What is the fact?
something that
What is
comes
the
as
fact?
awareness to people.
And at the same time, if it is not a fact, then it must not be shown to the people. You must agree to this.
But the Supreme Court has the last word on it.
The Kerala
Or do you
story
think,
is-
you want to go against the Supreme Court order?
That's a separate thing.
Navika, can I please come in? Because this fake
Hands
news
are,
has to
hands
come.
are going up.
I
Hands are
haven't
going
said
up.
this.
Nalin
Did I say
Kohli
this?
first, and then I'm coming to
Did
you,
I say
Anand
this?
Ranganathan. Nalin Kohli.
So now let's look at how the Bengal government looks at the constitution. Honestly, I think I would like to gift, I'd like to my Trinamool Congress spokesperson friend, a copy of the constitution, or on Google you will find it. Read Article 14, equality of all citizens. So you have a problem with women disappearing in, as you say, Gujarat, but you have no problem about women disappearing in Kerala. Which world do you live in? Is this your concept of the Constitution of India? That just because the BJP is in one place, that place will appeal for an attack. But if the same thing as you claim is happening in another state, then you'll say, no, this shouldn't be seen. It's misguiding, it's propaganda. So how can your argument of propaganda for what happens in Kerala not be the argument of propaganda by you for Gujarat?
The rapist of Bilkis Banu.
Okay, now deflect the issue to something else. Let me get in. I'm coming to you, Dr.
Now you're
Anand
going to
Ranganathan,
Bilkis
but
Banu.
Sandeep Senan, he's a film producer.
Change the goalpost when you have no answer.
Exactly.
Fake news-
Sandeep
fake news
Senan, the film producer. I want to ask you, Sandeep Senan, some producers, somebody is being quoted that they say the film is not good. So the whole country should believe the film is not good and pretend it wasn't made and nobody needs to see it. Is that how things work?
No, it is not the right way. And I would say that we proudly say in India that we live in a land of unity in diversity. And we have many religions, many castes, and everything happens, a lot of things, and we have a lot of freedom of speech. But I'm sorry to say that Mr. Sen from TMC has been talking rubbish on this, because we all used to look upon the Bengali film industry where there were a lot of freedom and lot of, blatant things were shown in Bengali movies very openly, and and they had the courage to do that. We used to look upon the Bengali movie industry like that. And a government says that it is a violation of Section 6.1, but I think the government misused the Section 6.1 of the West Bengal Cinema Regulatory Act, because a movie like this, which says about what happened in Kerala, I think this is something that happened in Kerala. And talking about intolerance without watching a movie like Kerala Story, aren't they for ISIS? Are they talking for ISIS? I wonder. I think this is a movie which has to be shown all across the country, where it shows how females are being radicalized.
Yeah, and it may be happening in other parts of the country as well. So, Kamruzaman Chaudhary,
this has
respond.
to be shown. This is a part of awareness as well.
Absolutely.
Every citizen of the country has to watch this.
I want to ask you, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, what is the problem? The problem is the film, the problem is the theme, the problem is the fact that it is inspired by true incidents. What is the problem with the film? Have you seen it?
Movie, and I feel that it's a wonderful movie to be seen by all. Because Indians are not so fools to be swayed by whatever is portrayed in a movie as per se. And you see, today's verdict from the Supreme Court also points to that direction. One way, when it has criticized the TMC for banning a movie in West Bengal, however hypothetical it may be, but there is another second part of a very important statement that was coming out of the Supreme Court, which I don't know if you have missed it or you have intentionally not read it out. Supreme Court says, as much as we protect free speech, you cannot vilify a community. Then it to put a disclaimer on the movie, there is no authentic data to back up the suggestion that the figure of converted people is 32,000 or any other figure. Second disclaimer, the film represents a fictionalized version of subject matter. Now you come to the point where, as a Muslim, forget about me representing the Congress party or a leader from a political spectrum. Now, how does a Muslim feel about this movie? Let me be very candid on your show. You know, Muslims of India like me have sanitized ourselves from such events of the checklist of the Hindutva ecosystem. So it hardly matters what the film is portraying. If there is an iota of truth in the movie that is depicted out here, let us take yesterday some girls have already come out and done a press conference. There is a case point. They have testified themselves. They've agreed to be witnesses on this. Let us take this 30 or 25 odd girls, take case by case. Let the NIA take each of these cases. Who are the people behind these cases? Let them be brought to book as per our constitution, as per the law of the land. But till that time, please do not vilify and stereotype.
Certainly not.
India.
Why do you think it is the vilification of a community? Dr. Anand Ranganathan, all along they say this is vilification of a community when the film is actually based on ISIS.
No.
Why are they speaking for the ISIS? Dr. Ranganathan.
It was all about...
Kamruji, please. I didn't interrupt. Kamruji, I didn't interrupt.
Just let me finish 10 seconds, because I'm speaking the last. I deserve that much courtesy from Navika ma'am. The basic point why I say the vilification, because you see the entire community in India has been sanitized already. We do not have any problem, any issue of trying to portray our community, stereotype us into such movies and say, look, the Muslims of India are like this. We have seen Dharam Sansad being organized across India. You have seen some people...
Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, nobody wants to make this about... I mean, I have so many Muslim friends. I have colleagues who are Muslims. The person who's directing my show is a Muslim. Who is saying this is about all Muslims? You know, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, why do they always make it about entire Muslims? If they didn't make it, will it really be about the entire community?
Navika, I'll tell you what.
Now hold on, now listen to the answer, Kamruzaman Chaudhary. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, Anand Ranganathan is responding to you.
I gave you more than 2 minutes, Kamruji, please. And I was completely silent when you were having your view. Please. Navika, 3 points. Number one, What you say is because of the so-called victim card, and the government might tax TCS 20% on credit card, but there is no TCS of 20% on victim card. Jitna pelna hai pelo. Number one. Number two, Navika, with due respect, is there some competition going on that you've organized that your panelists must come as unprepared as possible on the debates? Let me just expose two fake news. Number one, as for Kamruji saying that this is a Hindutva ecosystem brigade that is basically maligning the Muslim community. The film, the director is a dyed-in-the-wool communist by his own admission. He says, I come from a communist family. And number two, as you rightly put, it is against ISIS, not Islam, as verified by the Supreme Court as well as the High Court. But here, this is very important, Navika. This should have been done with due respect by the BJP spokesperson, but this is blatant fake news being spread by the TMC spokesperson when he talks about 41,000 missing Gujarati women. The Gujarat police has clarified that 95% of them have been found in the last 5 years. 37,000 have been found out of 40,000 or 39,000 odd. There is a tweet by the Gujarat police. So please, we cannot have these people spreading fake news and fake narrative on national television.
I'm glad you brought that up because I knew it was a number in 30,000. But would you want to respond to that, Dr. Shantanu Sen?
So he should apologize, Dr. Saab. I have great respect for you. You were a COVID warrior. Please don't spread fake news, Dr. Saab.
No. The party which is a master of spreading fake news, false promises. I am not in a mood to answer their question. They don't have any respect for the minority communities at large.
This is not a question by number one. Every political party is an esteemed political party, and every panelist is an esteemed panelist on this show. So let's not call each other names and belittle anybody. And the other fact is the question was asked by Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who certainly is not from the BJP.
No. My stand is very clear. You just cannot show this type of picture which can spread a message of hatred, a message for breach of peace.
Are you still saying that after the Supreme Court order, Dr. Shantanu Sen? Are you still saying that after the Supreme Court's verdict?
No, that's a separate deal. Again, I repeat, yes, definitely we will be abiding by the verdict given by Supreme Court, but it doesn't mean Supreme Court is God.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. This is a member of Parliament from the Trinamool Congress who says we will abide by the Supreme Court verdict, who says that, the law and order is the Supreme Court's responsibility, who comes out and says such films should not be shown, and also says that then the security is really up to the gods.
Just 5 seconds.
Anand Ranganathan, I'm completely out of time on this one. Completely out of time on this one. But, I really don't know where the law stands on this, where the constitutional, apex court stands on this, and where do governments really stand on this? Nalin Kohli, lawyer, constitution, courts, have any value in this country?
I mean, I'm pained that the Supreme Court is not God. This is just not done. This is how they demean institutions. You are entitled to criticize the BJP. We are political parties. We will be opposed to each other, but don't demean the Honorable Supreme Court or a constitutional court, which is the High Court, or any of the courts.
Well,
because we all have faith.
For those who are the lawmakers of this land, for them to come out and say that the Supreme Court is not God, and put all kinds of caveats on the judgment today, clearly, I don't know if politics is above the Constitution. And I don't know if appeasement is above freedom of speech. That question still remains open. Thank you very much to the panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side,